Okay, I'm starting to dismantle the little 3.5 horsepower Homelite. And I managed to get most of the stickers off. And I can use some kind of glue to get those back down. And I do have an engine leak still, but it looks to me like it's on the valve door. Whew. First thing I want to do is see if it's leaking out of that valve door. Muffler's still warm, but not super hot. At least it's not full of oil this time. So where is it leaking? Might not be. Might be on the case. That's really hard to tell. Well, there's some fresh oil there. There's also some fresh oil right here. I might have to put a new case seal on there. Not the end of the world. I'm just going to turn this a little bit. Maybe even flip it up this way. It looks like it's coming out of the seal right there. Huh. I may just see if the little valve door is tight here. Oh yeah. I made sure of that. Well, that's too bad. I hate oil leaks, as you guys know. Okay, well, I think the next thing is to get the blade off and get the motor off the case. Thanks. Okay, my friends. 9/16. I don't know what. We're going to start dismantling this guy. So on the engine block, they're 9/16, and on the blade it's 9/16. Interesting. Now the only thing that scares me is this motor is a '92. 1992. So I was living in this house when this mower was made. That's but my oldest daughter's pushing 40. So that's kind of neat. So let's just get the blade off. Yes, Dave, I'm using the jack. There we go. So I sharpened this earlier today, and I did test it. And that's about as good a sharpening as you can get for an old blade. But I never did balance it. So I'll just check that. I know, as you guys stare at a lawnmower. Well, you know, it did have, whoops, it did have a small vibration while I was, you can see it in the cord, the starting cable, or the starting rope. So I'm going to take a little bit off this end before we before we put it back on the mower, but this mower is going to get worked over pretty good before that happens. Okay, I just took a little bit of metal off that side, that side there, and I did take a little off the back and a little bit more off that edge. So that shouldn't vibrate at all now. And my John Deere manual says that's how you balance a blade. You don't have to have those little cups that sit there, although they also balance it back and forth this way. But by the time you've got that much blade carved away, your blade's pretty much shot anyway. That's what that shows. So cool. All right, now let's see if we can get this. I got to do a couple of other small things before I get ahead of myself. I got to disconnect the rope, which will be 7/16. If I remember correctly, I'm going to need a vice grip to hold that other side. Can you see me up here? No, you can't. Oh well. There we go. Okay. So now we have to disconnect the throttle right here. That should be easy. How far do you go when you're doing something like this? You want it to run good. You don't want it to leak. It's probably not going to be something that you use every day, but you might. I just thought it was cool because it was a Homelite and it has an aluminum case. Okay, I believe everything's disconnected but the engine. I'm going to leave the top one in. Let's see if you can get these out. I'll wait for the last one. Look at the corrosion between the steel and the aluminum there, because the block is aluminum, right? Okay, now we're going to do the top one, and we have to be a little bit more careful because it can fall over on the floor. But these are in there. Good. Okay, now we should be able to just lift this off of here. Change the balance of everything, didn't it? Okay. Okay, well that weighs nothing now. Look at that. Perfect. Okay, I'm just going to turn you off until we come back with a plan. Okay, plan. Further dismantlation for the nation. Just little things. This is just a grass door. An oily, icky, gooey brass door. Grass door. Okay, on stuff like this, I usually just do something like this. I put a piece of tape over the over the nut so I just know where it goes. This will be painted. Now let's get this grass chute off because it's in good condition, right? Can you guys see that from over there? Yes, you can. Coolness. Now that should, oh, no. Now we need another. You just never know if something like that's gonna snap or gonna go, eh? Good. Excellent. As you guys know, I like old movies and old music. I might just see if I can get that off. It's got a spring on it, huh? Good. The paint is flaking off as we speak. Good. So I'm going to put this whole thing back together with its weirdness. Just so I know how it comes when it comes time to reassemble, right? All right. Handlebars. Good. Now those can go outside for now. We'll paint those two. Do you leave it on the wheels or not? I don't think so. But I do think you leave the wheel adjusters on. Nine sixteenths. I think the wheel would be on there with a 9/16. Nope. Probably not even a half. Good. I knew that was going to happen. 9/16 wrench from opposite side. Excuse me, guys. Imagine saying excuse me to a camera. I'm sure the neighbors think I'm out of my mind. There's a guy in a garage over there that's talking to himself all the time. And he's talking like he's got friends in there, but there's nobody there. Well, one of these wheels looked like it was in dire need of some love and attention. The next one I'm going to put a little bit of penetrating oil on. That was stiffer than it should be. Little bit of PB blaster on all four. There. I'm almost tempted to go to the air gun, but Jeez. You can snap off a bolt and then you're in. Although I've got lots of these axles. Oh! That's all these old muscles can do. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually taking this past, like there's kind of three phases of work like this. There's fixing to get running and operational. There's reconditioning, which is what I'm doing here, taking everything off and making sure that whatever you put back on is in good condition. And then there's a rebuild, which is an absolute complete, like it would be new wheels, new hardware. I'm not quite going that far. Rebuild would be a 30 thousandths over on the piston with new rings, new valves, all that stuff. And that's a rebuild. I mostly, as far as I go, it would be something like this. So far only one of these wheels needs a love. I'll show you which one when I get this one on. Are you still watching me? Yes, you will. Oh, wrong. Push on a ratchet, don't pull. So before I go any further, this is a good wheel. You can see the spokes right in here. Nothing's cracked. But if you look at this wheel, there's cracks on each of the plastic strength spokes. Or they're almost like a, oh, what do they call those? Cleat. Almost like a little cleat in there. But, you know, I might be able to just fortify that with some JB weld and then spray it white again. It's going to be behind. It's a wheel. Now, the decision is, do I take these brackets off or do I just leave them and tape off the handles? I think I'm just going to tape off the handles. Okay, let's turn this over. I want to take this rubber do-hummer off and then straighten it. Do-hummer, did you guys know that's an actual word? Okay, that looks like a 7/16. And that one's a 3/8. Interesting. It's been worked on. Oh, that aluminum is wicked stuff when it oxidizes. This is the stuff that's hardest on your hands, eh? Good. Whew. That should just pull out somehow. There we go. And that should lift off. Okay, and while you're not looking, I'm just going to straighten this edge. You see all the zubas in there. Okay, it's pretty good. So now I'm going to have to decide what I'm going to do with this aluminum case. Man, that's as ugly as a mud fence, eh? So I'm just going to get my wire wheel out with some safety glasses and some earplugs and just see how this goes for a few minutes. It's going to be ugly messy, so I might do it out there in the bright sunshine. Hold on. Alright, this is the part that no one looks forward to. I'm using my bench grinder stand that has AC on it as my source of electricity out here. And then I'm just going to grind away on this and see how I do. I don't know. I might have to put it on blocks. Let's just try a little bit here. Well, that's, first of all, I better get a mask. And so on and so on. All right. I have scraped and scraped and scraped. So now what I'm going to do is I've even gone into the corners as much as I can. Anywhere I saw kind of a wrinkled or a bubbled paint, I went for it. And it actually feels pretty good. And then I don't know if this was a good thing to do or not, but I took some evapor rust, which is what's used for steel, and I got into this oxidized area, and you know, it seemed to take it off, even though I know it's for rust. But really, when you get oxidized aluminum like that, that is rusted aluminum, believe it or not. So before I paint this with primer, I'm going to wipe it down with a good mineral spirit first and work. Oh, see, there's another spot right there, but you could go forever. And so this is the beginning of the comeback. I had dreams of buffing it right down everywhere to the bare aluminum and then doing a clear coat. I thought that would look pretty cool, but that's pretty impossible, you know, back up in behind here. You could do it, but it would be like a year-long project. And year-long projects don't really work on a $40 lawnmower, right? So, thanks for carrying on.